Okay, so today we're diving into a story that it completely blurs the line between life and death. Seriously, this is one of the most incredible, jaw-dropping survival stories in all of modern medicine. All right, so picture this. It's a brutally cold January night in Pennsylvania. A young guy, Justin Smith, walks out of his house, and he has absolutely no idea he's about to walk straight into a medical mystery that would end up baffling doctors and making headlines all over the globe. So the next morning, his own father finds him, and it's just a horrifying scene. Justin is lying there, completely motionless, almost buried in the snow on the side of the road. He'd been out there for over 12 hours. Think about that, 12 hours in freezing, sub-zero temperatures, totally exposed to the elements. It's just unbelievable. So when the first responders get there, the scene is, well, it's grim. First thing they do, check for a pulse. And there's nothing. Okay, so no pulse. Next, they check for breath. His lungs are completely still. He's not breathing. So the conclusion here is pretty unavoidable, right? By every single medical definition in the book, Justin Smith is showing zero signs of life. And the people on the scene, they said his body wasn't just cold, it was frozen solid. The direct quote was, "He was like a piece of wood." I mean, he was so rigid that the paramedics couldn't even perform standard procedures on him. When he gets to the hospital, the ER docs confirm what everyone already feared. The official diagnosis comes in, clinically dead. That means his heart isn't beating. He isn't breathing. It's over. But wait, this is where the story takes a wild turn. Everyone's accepted it's over, but one doctor, he hesitates. He looks at this frozen body and something clicks. He remembers this critical piece of medical wisdom, and it pushes him to take a huge, extraordinary gamble. And that piece of wisdom, it's a famous saying in emergency medicine. You're not dead until you're warm and dead. The idea is that extreme cold can actually preserve the body's organs, almost like putting them on pause, so you can't officially call it until the body is warmed up. It was just a tiny sliver of hope, but it was something. Now, this tiny bit of hope, it all depended on a really advanced piece of tech called ECMO. The easiest way to think about it is like an external heart and lung machine. It literally takes blood out of the body, warms it up, pumps it full of oxygen, and then sends it right back in. This was Justin's only shot, his only hope. So the team gets to work on what seems like a completely impossible task. They have to keep doing CPR to try and get any kind of circulation going while they're prepping him for this ECMO machine. And the effort here was just immense. I mean, we're talking continuous manual CPR for 2 straight hours. That is an exhausting, physically brutal job. And they're doing all this while hooking him up to the ECMO machine, all on a body that, for all intents and purposes, was completely lifeless. For 2 hours, there's nothing. The team is pushing, the machine is whirring, but the heart monitor, it's just a flat line. Hope is really starting to fade. And then something happens. Against all the odds, defying every single thing you'd read in a medical textbook, the impossible, well, it becomes possible. On the monitor, a single beat, a blip, then another, and slowly, just miraculously, Justin's heart, this heart that had been frozen solid for hours, it starts to beat all by itself. The doctor who was leading this whole thing, he said it perfectly. He said, "We were looking at a corpse, and suddenly we had a smiling patient." Can you even imagine that? It just captures the absolute shock and joy in that room. So now his heart is beating again. The ECMO machine keeps doing its job, gently warming his blood. And as that internal ice finally starts to melt, Justin Smith slowly starts his journey back to the world of the living. He actually opened his eyes. But honestly, what came next might be the most unbelievable part of the whole story. I mean, surviving is one thing, but the doctors were positive that if he did survive, he'd have catastrophic brain damage from the lack of oxygen. But he didn't. 0 brain damage, no lasting heart damage. Justin Smith went on to make a full recovery. So you've got to be asking, how? How is any of this medically possible? It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But there is some truly incredible science behind how he survived. Okay, so here's the science behind it. The crazy thing is, the extreme cold that almost killed him is also what saved him. It basically forced his body into a state we call therapeutic hypothermia. This slows the body's metabolism way, way down to a crawl. And when that happens, the brain and all the vital organs just don't need as much oxygen. So the cold basically put him in a state of suspended animation, preserving him until the medical team could safely warm him back up. And this whole thing was absolutely groundbreaking. This wasn't just some feel-good local news story. No, this case was published in major medical journals. It was studied by doctors all over the world and featured on news channels everywhere. This case literally helped rewrite the book on how to handle severe hypothermia. So when you look at Justin Smith's story, it's obviously a huge triumph of quick thinking, incredible hope, and amazing medical tech. But for a lot of the people who were actually there, it felt like something more. And it kind of leaves you with this big question, doesn't it? Where exactly do you draw the line between a medical miracle and a miracle of a whole different kind?